Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Discussions. I am your host for Discussions, James Piranha Madonna of Mega Life 21, the hardest hitting internet talk radio station on the planet. And I am here with my co-host. I'm the host. I am here with
At least I'm not a ghost.
At least you're not a ghost, thank God. No, my co-host and mentor, the one and only, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, the founder of Newsletter Censored in 1977. How are you today, sir?
Excellent, excellent.
It happens to be Saturday, April the 30th, 2011, and tomorrow is Mayo the 1st, right? Already, May 1st.
Not Cinco.
No, wait a minute. May 1st is not tomorrow.
May 1st is
Monday.
Labor Day, something,
Labor Day.
Well, not
No,
Labor Day.
come on, that's in September.
No, May 1st is a day honored by workers.
Republicans?
Workers.
Hookers?
Workers.
Oh, workers. You mean
Republicans don't like workers, okay?
They don't like holidays either. If it was up to them, they have you work 24/7 as slaves.
Yeah, they go back
every
to the
day
old
of the
days.
year. They don't believe in time off and vacations, except for themselves. They're hypocrites.
Oh, for themselves, they love
They're
pensions.
the hippiest crits you'll ever meet.
They love pensions, free pensions, they love free health insurance, they love big salaries.
But not for you, not for the little guy. Not for the little guy.
No.
So anyway, it is April 30th. Tomorrow's the 31st, and Monday will be May 1st. And then what?
Tomorrow's the 1st.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
sorry.
31st in April.
Okay. Tomorrow is Mayo, May the 1st, and pretty soon it'll be Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
5th of May. I salute all Mexican Americans because I love Mexican food. I love Tex-Mex.
I like mariachi music.
And I love frozen mango margaritas. Shaken, not stirred. No, that's
Do they have salt
that's
and lime on
martinis.
the room too?
No, I don't take the salt. I don't like the salt. I hear a lot of activity out there. I hope no jabronis in the fucking neighborhood disturb this masterpiece of a show. But anyway, I'm glad to be back in my casual attire, classy casual, or dress casual. And I'm glad to be reunited with me, Blackthorn Shillelagh, imported from Ireland. I missed it. Last week I had to dress up because it was Happy Pagan Easter 2011, and
You had to clean blood off it.
blood off what?
The shillelagh.
No, I
Republicans in the head.
It hasn't. It has not yet. It's still a virgin shillelagh. It has not yet. A virgin shillelagh. Remember when we did that conversation about the sexuality, a holistic approach? It's a virgin shillelagh. It has not connected with any conservative skull yet. Yet. Anyway, I just want to start off.
Seeking volunteers.
Seeking volunteers. Yeah, like, what about the crocodile tears of Weeper of the House, John Bonehead Boehner?
Yeah.
You know, or no, actually, he's very soft-spoken. Let's think of somebody loud and
Rush Limbaugh.
Rush Limbaugh, loud, obnoxious. Bill O'Reilly is a pain in the ass, right?
I'll tell you the truth. Bill O'Reilly seems to be
Softening?
Checking facts lately.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Compared to all the other ones on Fox News, they don't check any facts.
No.
Now, by the way, since Mr. Obama released his long-form birth certificate, now it's a fake. It's a fake.
What?
It's Photoshop.
Who said that?
That's what they're saying now.
The Republicans will never stop.
They will never
never end. And you know why it will never end? And this includes Donald Trump's investigation. Of course, we all know. I know that Donald Trump is really running to play the spoiler, to take away votes from Barack Obama's re-election for 2012, because Donald Trump wants a conservative Republican to get in the White House, so he and all of his other rich elitist friends, buddies, will never have to pay a penny in taxes ever again. He is greedy, he is stingy. He is egomaniacal, just like the rest of them, and he does not want to pay taxes. But this is the reason why him and all conservatives look for every single tiny reason to make problems for Obama and for the Obama administration to fail. They want it to fail because they are greedy. They don't care about the middle class. They don't care about the poor. They have no compassion. They don't want to pay any taxes. And it's plain and simple. They represent the devil's economics. And that's the whole thing behind this. And
but in his case, it's racist. That's what it is. They hate blacks. You know it.
Well,
blacks and browns.
Racial profiling, like what they were doing in Arizona, is racism. I saw a sign. Some red state redneck asshole in Arizona put up a big sign, something to the effect. I saw it on Facebook. It says, something about Obama's birth certificate, a sarcastic comment, and they were saying that they have to check his papers or something if he comes to Arizona. Some bullshit like that. To check his papers. Yeah, check his papers.
Nazi Germany.
You know something?
I want to see your papers.
I want to see Achtung. I want to see your papers.
We have a train waiting for you.
That's
going to Auschwitz.
You sound like what was it, Major Hochstetter from Hogan's Heroes? He was part of the Gestapo.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Colonel Klink.
Was who's the guy?
Was afraid of him, and also General Burkhalter, the big fat guy.
Yeah.
Kind of looked like Chris Christie, with the big fat guy, big fat face with the pouty lips, like Chris Christie, like a
Christie looks like that's right, a bloated goldfish.
The bloated, and Donald Trump too. If you took Dennis the Menace, gave him over $1 billion, and gave him a bloated goldfish face with Dennis
Trump
the Menace,
has no money.
Oh no?
No.
It's all locked up?
He has no money.
He has no moolah?
No moolah.
Why? I thought he's over $1 billion net worth.
He has no net worth.
Well, of course the rich always cry.
Now, if he walks into a bank, though, they'll give him a loan, and they'll be on their knees genuflecting.
The rich always cry poverty. Corporate America always cries poverty. That's why they don't want to pay you that much. They don't want to pay you a living wage because they always cry poverty. Come on, he's got more. He's got more money than he'll ever use.
He's gone bankrupt 2 or 3 times already. And he's supposed to be such a wheeler dealer.
Yeah, he says he can't get married, he can't have a serious relationship because he's always working. Always working on the big deal.
Well, he is married now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was married to the other one, too. What was that, Ivanka?
Yeah. Well, his daughter is quite attractive. Was that Ivana's daughter, right?
I guess so.
The blonde.
But
she's her and her brother are very mechanical, very business-like, very formal, Well, actually, sometimes they have a sense of humor. I take that back. Very corporate, very like robotic, cold, money. We worship money. Money is our God. The church is the bank. Money. The deal, with the pucker mouth. I'm the master of the deal. Mm-hmm. And then Chris Christie is like,
I shall screw you.
We shall screw you. Chris Christie would say, I want to close all of the food pantries except my own.
Yeah.
Because I require a very high caloric intake to sustain my greedy, mean-spirited, selfish personality. Anyway, I just want to start off by saying, because I have nothing to read off of paper because I'm ad-libbing the whole damn thing, is probably the title of this video is going to be, America does not have a deficit problem. The problem is there is a lack of revenue. Tax the rich. There is a lack of revenue. There's not a deficit problem in the United States. In order to to operate a large first numero uno world country like the United States, it requires money. And in order to, being that corporate America has outsourced most or all of the jobs out of the country, and there are no jobs except for McDonald's, you know, and maybe a few miscellaneous.
Yeah, McDonald's, of that 50,000 that jobs that they were offering, almost 1 million people applied.
So far?
Yeah.
You hear that, folks?
What
A
does that
lousy,
tell you?
stinking, fucking hamburger flipping job because the owner of the franchise is offered health benefits. The first day, 1,000 people showed up, I heard. 1,000 people for a lousy, degrading hamburger flipping job. And I bet people with good resumes, too.
Yeah, well, that's what the problem is. You got older people, you got very professional people, highly academic people. I mean,
Young.
they just need money to survive here. That's what it's all about.
That's what they made it all about.
That's correct.
That's not what it's supposed to be all about. It's supposed to be all about this in a country like the United States. If you have experience and you have wisdom with age and you have a fantastic resume, you're supposed to get a really good job and be able to not only live a happy, comfortable life, you're supposed to have money left over for leisure and to actually pursue happiness, like the old
Well, you're not supposed.
the old mumbo, flag-waving mumbo jumbo they used to spew.
Yeah. Well, you're not supposed to have to depend on a corporation
For your survival.
for your survival.
For your survival.
These jobs going offshore, the manufacturing leaving this country,
Yeah.
these are national security issues and should be treated as such. If we are going to allow corporations to be the ones who provide our jobs, our sustenance, our survival, then they must be regulated heavily,
Damn right.
quite heavily. And if they dare move offshore,
Tariff the hell out of the products when it comes off the cargo ship.
well, not only that, they should be treated as traitors.
It is treason.
That's correct.
Other countries would treat them as traitors. You know, countries that have
Other countries wouldn't allow it, actually.
Japan wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
You know, they don't allow the Japanese jobs to go overseas. You know, because obviously because of greed. Now, what's probably going to happen is mainland China is going to they're going to outsource all the outsourced jobs from India, most likely, and they will all go into mainland China. Why? Because mainland China has a lot more people than India, and they work cheaper. So the greed doesn't end. It goes on, and this greed is something that is embraced and worshipped by conservative Republicans and conservative Democrats.
Yeah.
Moderate to conservative blue dog Democrats who have sold out the little guy. They've sold out the voter. The voters that voted the Democrats in 2008, November of 2008, well, they sold you out. They lied to you. The first thing they did was they voted no for a public option for health care. And a public option is the only way that the poor and even the lower middle class can ever have health care, in my opinion, because they can't afford, there's no jobs available for them to, pay into, to have a decent health care plan. There's nothing. They can't afford to pay it on their own. And speaking of health care, it looks like Medicare is following the same path as Medicaid. And the reason why I'm saying this is because recently my mother had an appointment with the ear, nose, and throat specialist, and here in Hackensack, New Jersey. And what happened was, all he did was clean some, what is it? It's a form
Wax.
of sebum. It's not really wax like a
Out
candle.
of the ears. Out of the ears.
It's a form of sebum, right? Anyway, they call it earwax. All right, she's getting older, you know, she's a senior citizen, so he cleaned out her ears, and that's about it, really. He gave her, she asked him a couple questions, and that was it. $222 was the bill, and lo and behold, Medicare only paid $48 of the $222. Big deal. A lousy stinking $48. So it seems to me that there's a built-in failure mechanism for Medicare. They don't want Medicare to be successful, just like Medicaid, which pays even less, by the way. You know, it's designed not to succeed. It's designed to fail for some reason, because $48 is like a slap in the face to a physician, to a specialist. You know, $48. Of course, a lot of doctors are in our area are starting to, you know, get greedy and not take even Medicare. I mean, Medicaid is a joke. Okay, most doctors do not take Medicaid, state Medicaid program, but Medicare. I mean, come on, $48 of $222 bill. So the government programs look nice to get votes, but do they really work?
Well, they're not meant to work. That's the problem. Now, Medicare does work on a level of administration costs, just like Social Security. Very, 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 very low compared to the private sector. But the point is that these programs, ever since the Reagan days,
the demon Reagan,
I've been starved. They're starving the beast, as they put it. See? Cut the programs, cut the personnel, and then programs don't work, and then you go out and tell your constituents, big government doesn't work.
See? Big government actually works just fine. The European Union is proof of that. They just want to make it, it's part of the whole brainwashing with the conservative propaganda. They want mainstream America, and especially the middle class that are really overtaxed, they want them to fall for this crap, so they turn around and vote Republican, and they do not vote for a Democrat. And the reason why is because they're greedy. These people are evil. These people are demons. This is the devil's economics. What we need is a good progressive liberal independent candidate that's got the balls to look out for the little guy and be loyal to his voters. Okay, and I don't see any on the horizon yet.
And obey the Constitution. Of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Yeah.
Not of the corporation, by the corporation, and for the corporation. Or the oligarch.
You know, Donald Trump, a lot of people kiss his ass and look up to him and feel that, oh, what we need is a corporate CEO with a fantastic track record to run the country, because they're believing, again, the bullshit conservative propaganda that big government will never work, and you have to privatize everything, and capitalism is number one, and all this bullshit, when it is in reality the devil's economics. I mean, the closest thing to the Bible is a progressive liberal politician, and yes, having public options, having compassionate social programs that work, and yes, what do conservatives like to say when you mention this? Who's gonna pay for all of this? Guess what? The rich. The rich are supposed to pay for it, like they did during FDR, Truman, and Eisenhower, with the 91% tax rate. That is old-time America at its best, when the job market was great, when the economy was great, and it could never be better. That's how it's supposed to be. Yes, you, the greedy, stingy bastards, the elitists, are going to pay for it. That's how it works. And you don't like it? Leave the fucking country and don't let the door hit you in the ass.
Yeah, and leave your company here, and I can tell you, in one day we'll have a new CEO, and a new and the workers will be there producing the same product you produce.
And happy workers.
Yeah, and producing the same product. You are not
Listen,
you are expendable. The companies are expendable,
and their CEOs
and their CEOs
that are
expendable.
pencil paper pushers, actually.
Yeah.
Now,
Expendable.
yeah, life will go on. You know, hey, somebody's got to support all these hundreds of thousands and soon to be probably millions of unemployed people. Okay, who had their homes foreclosed on them and have to get food stamps and all that stuff. Somebody's got to pay for them. Hey, you want to send jobs out of the country, this is what happens. You know, but anyway.
No, they'd rather give bonuses on Wall Street
Yeah, Wall Street bailouts.
and have Wall Street borrow money from the Fed at 0% interest. You go to a bank and see if you can get a loan for 0% interest.
No. You know, and it really irritates me.
So who are the goddamn welfare cheats in this country? Or as Reagan used to say, the welfare queen.
The elitists are the real welfare queens. The queens, the corporate CEOs are the real ultimate welfare
But
cheats.
why can't their constituents see this?
Interesting.
You know?
The true consumer has always been the little guy, always. And small
The
businesses
producer of wealth.
and small businesses, entrepreneurs and mom and pop stores and local businesses that are small. They're called emerging growth companies in the mutual fund and stock industry. These have always been the backbone of the United States in the old days when things were great. The little guys, small businesses. They should never be overtaxed. They should never have the tax burden. Even the property taxes of the middle class should be low.
About people on unemployment.
And income taxes should be extremely low. Oh, people on unemployment?
They get taxed.
So the money's taxed twice. What about inheritance tax? Isn't that money usually taxed twice too?
No.
Sure it
Inheritance
is.
taxes have been lowered. And like I think it's like less than 1% of people are affected by that tax. That is a tax that was necessary, is necessary, but it is not there anymore. That tax prevents what has been occurring in this country. It prevents the rich people getting richer and more powerful each generation. They have to be defanged, as FDR put it.
Defanged.
And we have not defanged them in a long time.
The venomous
And we are now suffering because of that.
The venomous poison sac must be removed. And it's a really sad situation. But of course, you are going to continue to hear the conservative lies and the propaganda.
That's because they can't sell you a program out in the open. They have to lie.
Well, I resent. What really ticks
Did
me.
Scott Walker in Wisconsin tell his people when he was running what he was going to do?
No.
Absolutely not.
And why hasn't any Democrats that are not calling themselves moderate blue dogs or conservative blue dogs, why haven't they jumped in front of the media camera and come clean with the American people? What's going on with Al Franken? He dummied up. The Democrat dummied up, like Archie Bunker used to say. Dummy up, meathead. But you haven't heard from Senator Al Franken. He had a lot to say when he had the nationally syndicated liberal talk show on Air America, and when he wrote all those books, like Rush Limbaugh's Big Fat Idiot, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All the books he wrote, He was very outspoken when he was a writer on for what is it, Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
He had a lot to say. Then all of a sudden, he gets elected. Senator Al Franken from Minnesota, and the Democrat dummies up. You don't hear from him. Anyway, we have to roll up our sleeves as progressive liberals and fight just as dirty as the conservatives. And I think and Obama, he still tries to desperately be loved or liked by everybody with this. He's still going on making nice when he's interviewed by a conservative. Bipartisanship. Can't we all get along? It's not going to happen. It's not going to work because the conservatives do not believe in getting along. They don't believe in bipartisanship.
Because they don't believe in government.
They don't believe in government. They don't believe in compromise. They want to enslave the people. I mean, who the hell wants to roll out of bed early in the morning with the high cost of living and make minimum wage with no benefits? That's not the American dream. The American dream, and it ain't Dusty Rhodes either with the bionic elbow. Yeah, the Midnight Rider from Diablo Canyon, Colorado. Remember that? No, it's not that. The American dream is only for the rich. If you ain't got no moolah, you ain't got the American dream, and you're never gonna see it. You're gonna live in a friggin' refrigerator box. As
a FEMA concentration camp.
FEMA concentration camp, or you'll be like Boxcar Willie, Boxcar Hobo. Oh yeah, Jesse.
They don't exist anymore. That's the problem.
Boxcar.
That's one of the problems. Yeah.
Whatever happened? What's going on with True TV? Where's Jesse Ventura's conspiracy theory? They caved into politics and the sponsors, corporate
could be
CEOs.
Could be.
Anyway, our first article.
If you've got a dinosaur lover on your hands,
another dinosaur article.
2 museums are hosting dino-centered days that are bound to make your little one a happy osaurus. First, this weekend is the Morris Museum's Dino Day, which will feature dinosaur-related activities all day Saturday to help kick off the museum's new permanent exhibition, Digging Dinosaurs. I think the fact that they are extinct creates a certain fascination. Their size has intrigued the dinosaur lovers of all ages, and just all the mysteries about them. Things we'll never know, like what their skin looked like.
You think if they weren't extinct that people would be so fascinated by them? I think they'll be running for their lives.
At the Morris
T-Rex.
Museum,
yeah,
visitors will be able to touch a fossilized hadrosaur egg.
What the fuck is that?
It's a dinosaur.
Hadrosaur?
Hadrosaur. One exhibit plays a honking noise that scientists believe is similar to how dinosaurs sounded. Children can participate in fossil footprint rubbings. Look at amber in the fossil lab and search for fossils in a digging pit. They can make puppets, follow tracks around the museum to help to teach how dinosaurs lived. In one area, there are tracks of a carnivore chasing an herbivore. In another area, you can see tracks coming from a nest area, which helps to make the point that all dinosaurs started out life as an egg.
These fucking big mouth assholes out here. Shut the fuck up. What a bunch of fucking assholes in this neighborhood. You hear their mouths out there? Da, 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 da.
At 11:30 a.m.
Fuck them.
1:30 p.m.
Yeah.
There will be performances.
Dino Man.
An educator who works with large inflatable dinosaur models.
What about somebody that works with large inflatable blow-up dolls?
There is a 30-foot mural that depicts what parts of New Jersey looked like during the Cretaceous period.
Oh shit. I got so pissed off at these assholes out here shooting their mouth off on my video that I almost threw myself off the chair.
Moores said that children can even check out a sample of dino dung.
Dino dung. How you like that? A little unrehearsed levity that just took place before.
At
sure
the Newark Museum on
plenty-
Sunday, the Dino Fun continues as the museum celebrates its 4th annual Dinosaur Day.
Oh, Christ.
On display will be dinosaur artifacts, including a 9-foot-high Ice Age mastodon leg cast,
I'm sure that'll make a good pernil. Roasted pernil.
a life-size Tyrannosaurus Rex skull cast, mammoth tusks, and other prehistoric pieces. Visitors will be able to mine for gems and go through rubble from the Eocene era, looking for fossils that are between 34 and 56 million years old. They'll be able to see shark teeth and shells that could be found when this land was underwater.
I wonder if you can get titanium serrated shark teeth caps. You know, like people who get their teeth capped. Wouldn't they make great weapons?
The day will also feature 2 live animal presentations that make the connection between the dinosaurs of yesterday, like raptors, and today's birds, like hawks and vultures.
Well, birds are the closest relatives to dinosaurs.
In addition to the dino-related activities, the museum will focus on geology and natural disasters, a particularly topical exhibition considering the recent earthquake and tsunami in Japan. The museum has a hurricane simulator that exposes visitors to 78-mile-per-hour winds and a tsunami tank
I like to expose the
that
guy.
replicates.
I like to
happened?
expose the guy outside to this friggin' shillelagh, and if he doesn't shut his mouth, I'm gonna go out there right now.
That replicates what happens during that disaster. As for geology, it is pointed out that the basalt volcanic rock formations children can see alongside Route 280 were present when New Jersey was connected to the continent of Africa 250 million years ago.
Wow. Really? Probably North Africa, where Morocco is.
As we move forward, we need a lot more geologists to explore the Earth as it relates to alternative energy sources.
All right, we're gonna take. That's the completion of that article.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it was interesting. A tad bit of a
Very interesting.
a tad bit of a snoozer because it wasn't exposing the dirt in Washington, but it was cool. It was cool.
It was exposing the dirt in Washington. They don't believe in dinosaurs being here 65 million years
Why?
ago.
Because they're religious nuts. They're
That's correct.
right-wing
They
fundamentalists.
believe that the Earth was created 6,000 years ago, and that dinosaurs walked with man
You know what? You know what
on the
else?
face of the
You
earth.
know what else right-wing fundamentalists believe? They believe that UFO sightings are really demons that are trying to fool people.
Why are the demons using machines?
True. Very true.
They have no need of machines. God does not use machines. He uses the Holy Spirit to
Interesting.
do things.
So they believe that these UFOs, these UFOs are like illusions, like mirages.
I don't know what they think they are, but I only know what the Bible says.
You know what? Let's take a break because it's It's a trying day, you know. Greetings. We are back from our short break. I told you before I've had a very trying day. Well, you know, being that the weather is so gorgeous, all the assholes are out there making a hell of a lot of noise. And I am very particular in the professionalism of my shows. Like William H. Morrow III says, professionalism, James. You know, he talks like this. Hey, Billy Morrow, professionalism at all times. Very important. Anyway, I'm going to do promo now. Now, we were having a conversation, myself and my mentor and co-host, Dr. Bill, about employers. The ones that you respect. I had mentioned to him, the supervisors and upper management that people tend to respect a lot are the ones that are not afraid to roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty and start working with the employees when things get busy and tough. And the ones that don't get any respect at all are the ones that don't do shit. All they do is complain and bellyache and browbeat, and what they do is they collect the big bonus. And those are usually, Dr. Bill corrected me and said, those are usually the big companies, the corporations are like that, where you have upper management that does nothing but, you know, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, and complain all the time, and then collect big bonus checks on your blood, sweat, and tears. Isn't that right, Billy boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. And but I always respected, and he had said the ones that get their hands dirty are simply the ones that are running a small business. Generally, that's what happens. Anyway, this gentleman you see right next to me, this is a self-portrait of my co-host and mentor, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. The Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman is a fine watercolor artist, and this is his self-portrait. You can see the entire William J. Eisenman collection of fine watercolor art by going to www.newslettercensor.com. You can also go to www.myspace.com/Megalife21. You can go to the William J. Eisenman Facebook profile, and if you see a painting that you like, send him an email, drop him a line, and if it's still available, you can purchase a genuine William J. Eisenman collection watercolor painting. The bidding starts at $500 each. Okay, now what we got here? See this? This is what started it all. Back in 1977, Newsletter Censored. Okay, there is more information in this newsletter than there is on our talk shows or on our websites. This newsletter discusses the 5 taboos of American life, which is politics, religion, sexuality, health and child rearing, and it is the kind of information that most people are afraid to hear. Can you handle it? And simply go to www.newslettercensor.com, read all of the hard-hitting information, and click on the printable order form, and with your gift to support this work, get your free annual subscription to Newsletter Censored. Okay, this is it. Founded in 1977, and you have censored the political monologue, followed by sometimes tidbits, which is like current news topics, and The God Project by William J. Eisenman, Doctor of Divinity, and then Sexuality, A Holistic Approach by William J. Eisenman, Ph.D. You need Newsletter Censored. We are living in the end times, and Newsletter Censored will teach you how to defeat a conservative. You need Newsletter Censored in the end times, which is what we're living in. It is the underground media is the hardest hitting, most revealing newsletter ever invented. Newsletter Censored. So get it now. I don't know what it is. I have to check my astrological chart. But today, April 30th, even though the weather is beautiful out there, it's a very, very annoying day. And it's, I was telling my sister, but you know, my sister's a Scorpio, so sometimes we buck heads. You know how Scorpios can be.
Bucktails.
Bucktails? Yeah, that's a fishing lure. And very inexpensive and still the best fishing lure you can use, believe it or not. It's like a cheap 75-cent fishing lure, bucktail. Anyway, I was saying that most problems are created by people. You know, people unnecessarily, because of their personality defects or insecurities or whatever it may be, just being an asshole, create most of the problems that we all have. You know, like with our greed of conservative politicians, you know, so on and so on, and just everyday people too are responsible for creating the problems. People sabotage people that have an agenda, have a very important agenda of telling the real hard-hitting truth and trying to educate others and trying to set others straight on the right path. Let's say people that are part of the original Church of God that really know the Bible. They're doing a great service to humanity, but they get sabotaged. Other things like progressive liberal politicians, they get sabotaged. Okay, it's usually by people that are controlled by money, which we have to get money out of politics. You always told me that. That's a big problem.
We got to get politics out of politics too.
Got to get politics out of politics. But it's a very trying day, and I think Satan is behind sabotaging all good things.
Get thee behind me, Satan.
Huh?
Get thee behind me, Satan.
Why? You want him behind you? Is that what you're trying to say?
Get out of the way.
Oh, get out of the way.
Yeah.
Now, this is the problem. Got to get politics out of politics. You got to get money out of politics. Because technically, now what we were discussing Wednesday, myself and Dr. Bill, was that a person can be very qualified to be president of the United States and still not be wealthy. So anybody should be allowed to run for any political office, and money should not be the factor. You know, if you just have enough people that believe in you, you know, you should be able to get on the ballot. I mean, you can't take some bum off the street who says that he's a genius and he has a genius IQ and he knows the law and whatever backwards and forwards. You can't, you know, obviously, you know, you can't put him on the ballot. How many people could you possibly fit on a damn ballot, you know? But if you're a viable candidate and there's enough people behind you, you should be able to run. You know, money should not be the factor, but because money is the factor, and of course the elitists and the corporate plutocracy want it that way. They want only the fat cats and the people that are in bed with the elitists, corporate America, whatever. They will only want them to be on the ballot. Now that's why we have the evil, or no, the lesser of the two evils, but they're both evil. You have the frying pan and the furnace. I'm talking about the two-party system. The Republicans and the Democrats. And you don't have any independents, and the independents do not get invited to the debates. Now, anything new going on in the news besides the royal wedding, which I'm really sick and tired of hearing about?
Oh, boy.
I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. You know, anything going on with the Congress?
They kissed twice. Cut it out.
Oh, they did kiss.
They kissed 2 times.
They're so formal, the royal family. They originally were not going to kiss.
No, they did.
Was it a long, open mouth, tongue embrace?
No!
You think they would be offended if they read Sexuality, A Holistic Approach?
I think so.
By William J. Eisenman,
I think so.
PhD. Okay. But look, thank God it's over. Americans are so petty and superficial to be. Hey, that's why TMZ and what is it, Entertainment Tonight, or any of those gossip shows are still on the air. Americans like superficial, petty things, and they stay away from things that are important. You know, subjects that are important. They're more concerned with the entertainment industry and frivolous things. They want to be entertained, and meanwhile the country is going right to hell. Excuse me. Let me make myself a little bit useful here. I will be right with you. As you can see, we opened up the hatch. Now that the low-class people that don't contribute, that are not part of a real agenda, kept their mouths shut, or no, I think they just went away. You know. Anyway, the next article, please. Good thing I like it. I like it when I get the promo out of the way while you're eating lunch. Very good idea. Michelele.
The brand new airline industry needed brave pilots to go where no one had gone before.
Is this leading up to millionaires that want to go on a space shuttle or something?
Smart, courageous people needed to test the equipment and figure out the routes.
Routes to where? Antarctica?
In the early airline industry.
The early days.
Flying into unknown territory with untested equipment was dangerous. The men and women who broke the records and explored the air routes were the superstars of the day.
Yeah, now they're just a bunch of crooks. Before they were pioneers and courageous men and women, but now they just rip you off.
Charles Lindbergh,
good guy,
was the first and most famous pilot hero. He was the first person to fly across the Atlantic Ocean by himself.
Okay.
Before that, he had several flying jobs. He barnstormed or flew from town to town, giving demonstrations of flying. He was in the Army Air Service. He was an airmail pilot.
Did he ever get into a dogfight with the Red Baron? Was he in World War One?
No.
Kaiser Wilhelm?
On May 20, 1927, he took off from New York. After flying for 33.5 hours, he landed safely in Paris.
Okay.
He became an overnight celebrity.
That's when they called him Lucky Lindy? Okay.
Flying promoters sent Lindbergh on goodwill tours in the United States and Central America.
Okay.
These trips were a huge awakening for the crowds. Most people had never seen an airplane before.
Yeah.
Lindbergh made sure he took off and arrived when he said he would. He was late only once or twice when fog grounded him for a while.
Right.
He was proving that airplanes could be a reliable means of transportation.
Yeah, as long as they don't crash.
When he was touring Mexico, he met his future wife, Anne Morrow. She was the daughter of the American ambassador to Mexico.
Right.
Lindbergh took Anne, her mother and sisters, for rides in the plane. Later, he taught Anne how to fly.
Who wrote this? Somebody from...
After they married, Anne flew with Charles on his trips for Pan American Airways to scout out airplane routes that we are still using today.
Right. Okay. Well, in other words, he was the founding father, the pioneer of the modern day air travel,
That's correct.
airline service. So if it wasn't for the Wright brothers doing the right thing,
Or the left brothers.
for the Left brothers and Lucky Lindy, we may not be where we are today with airlines and possibly with military planes. Even though the airlines are a bunch of thieves. Didn't Lindbergh's son get kidnapped and he was never found? It's a shame.
The Lindbergh's pioneering 1931
There's more?
Asian trip took them to Canada, across Alaska,
Everybody wants to torture old James today.
then to Russia, Japan, and China.
2 articles on Lindbergh?
It's on flight.
Oh, flight. Okay.
Their 1933 European trip took them across Greenland and throughout Europe. Charles was the main pilot, while Anne operated the Morse code radio. The radio allowed them to find out weather conditions and to let people know where they were. They were the first to fly to these distant places,
Uh-huh.
so there were no airstrips.
No airstrips, correct.
They flew a pontoon airplane,
Yeah, like a seaplane.
or one with landing gear designed like the bottom of a boat.
Right.
Fuel and supplies were brought to their expected landing sites
Right.
ahead of time. But sometimes they had to spend the night in their plane and eat canned food that they brought along.
Good gosh.
Amelia Earhart was the next big star.
Amelia Earhart. I remember that name.
She was the first woman to fly alone across the Atlantic Ocean.
Now she disappeared.
She did. She achieved this milestone almost exactly 5 years after Lindbergh made his own record-setting Atlantic journey. She worked to promote flying and also to make it possible for women to have aviation careers. Bessie Coleman was the first African American to receive a pilot's license in 1921.
Oh, really? In 1921, they were racist back then.
Yeah, they were, maybe, but the licensing people maybe weren't.
Interesting. You know, I never knew that. You know,
There had been other black pilots before her, but they didn't have licenses.
you know who was a fascinating man, African American, George Washington Carver.
Carver, because
He was pretty smart,
He
man.
was an inventor,
Not just one thing.
not the peanut.
No, he did other things.
That's correct.
He's a sharp cookie.
Also, a black gentleman invented the stoplights. that you
George
see.
Washington Carver. I salute you. Huh? Yeah, the stoplights? Really?
Yes. They were invented by a black man.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was black and a woman, she couldn't find anybody in America to teach her to fly. She had to go to France
Wow.
to learn.
Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Nobody wanted to teach her to fly in the U.S.
She dreamed of setting up a flight school for African Americans. Unfortunately, she died in a plane crash while performing public flying exhibitions.
Just risky. Risky. Well, you know, going back, way back when, the baseball, some of the finest baseball players of that time were in the what they called the Negro League. Was Satchel Paige, Cool Papa Bell, Josh Gibson. These guys were phenomenal. But what happened was they approached the owner at that time of the Pittsburgh Pirates and offered to play in the major leagues for him for less money than the other stars, the other white baseball players, and he refused. He refused to sign him up. The owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates foolishly refused to sign up Josh Gibson, Papa Bell, and Satchel Paige. And nobody could hit Satchel Paige back then. And what a jerk! What an asshole!
That's discrimination.
And that's what happened back then, and it was talent wasted.
And your today's
Before Jackie Robinson, actually.
Republicans
Way
would
before, yeah.
love to go back to those days.
Republicans would love. They love to discriminate. They hate. They're anti-immigration unless the immigrants are working for them for either as slaves or for less than minimum wage with no benefits.
Housekeepers.
Housekeepers, cooks, gardeners,
Yeah.
landscapers, whatever. Servants to go get their mint juleps for them, and their drinks, and while they sit by the pool on their fat, lazy asses. Yeah. Then they like illegal immigration. The elitists, the conservatives. Interesting.
Imagine what it would have been like to be the first person to test brand new airplane equipment when airplanes themselves were new.
Mm-hmm.
Can you picture being the first pilot, the first to plot a course across the sea? Or even to prove that such a journey could be flown at all? To get an idea of what it was like for these brave explorers, there is a flight exhibit at the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C.
Smithsonian. You said
Smithsonian.
Stone. You said Stonian.
No, Smithsonian.
Smithsonian.
Smithsonian. Smith, like Smith ham?
Girl, the
Smithsonian.
Smith Brothers.
Cough drops.
Yeah. Well.
Black. Licorice flavor. Very good.
Smithfield is the delicious Virginia ham company down south. Yummy.
Spokeswoman?
I love smoked ham.
Paula Deen.
Oh no, the woman with the fat chubby. Hold on. Paula Deen, the fat chubby fingers with who leaves all her rings on when she cooks, and she sticks her fingers in the food and does everything with her hands, and then sucks on her fingers with the rings. Very unsanitary. Yeah, Paula Deen. Yo.
Now, don't come back now.
I wouldn't eat anything she cooks.
Orville.
I'm a very fastidious person.
Orville
Redenbacher.
and Wilbur Wright
Oh, damn.
successfully flew the first powered, controlled, piloted flight
After-
in 1903.
That was popcorn. Oh, by the way, Oliver Redenbacher. Now we're talking about the Wright brothers. How much more fly-by-night
This
information?
is the last one.
Oh.
This is very interesting history.
I want to hear about political dirt.
Forget about political dirt.
I want to bash conservatives. Anything in there on the Congress of the United States or Chris Christie or Weeper of the House or anything like that? Oh, we got a war going on, man.
Exactly. But here's the point. What are you going to do about it?
Fight the forces of evil.
How?
Education.
It's actually too,
information.
but it's actually too late to fight them.
The people are brainwashed already.
No.
They're not
have-
brainwashed? Well, who voted for the new
They
Congress?
have to be removed.
Yeah, hook or by crook. We all know that. But the
Well,
point is, who...
So,
if
you
the,
know, I mean, how much more information do you want
if
to
the
give
people were not brainwashed, then who the hell voted in a Republican Congress?
A Republican is voted in simply because there aren't enough people out there voting.
You've got a good point. A lot of the poor folk of America don't go out and vote. You brought up a very good point.
The youngsters and those people and independents and everything came out in 2008 and
Yeah.
voted for Obama. Those same people did not go out in 2010 and vote against Republicans.
Thus,
That did not happen.
that created a Republican-controlled Congress.
And whenever the voting is low, Republicans have a chance. In fact, Republicans say it, and they say it out loud, and they say it in their meetings. We don't want people to vote.
See?
Okay.
Well, that's why during, I think it was G.W. Bush versus
Gore.
Al Gore versus Al Gore, the Democratic Party offered transportation for to go into the poor neighborhoods and to bring the seniors who are still alive, by the way, and are still of legal voting age, picking them up and bringing them back home after they go to the polls. And then the Democrats offered transportation because they probably knew that the seniors were not going to leave the house and vote, and they don't want to deal with the crowds, maybe, or who knows. And the poor don't. They probably lost faith and decided no matter who gets elected, nothing's going to get done. It's going to be business as usual. So they don't take an interest. So they offered to, encourage them to get out and vote. Very good point. Continue
Well,
with.
that's what happens.
That's what
That's
happened.
the history of it. But people didn't throw parades or rush to see people fly. They didn't believe flying was anything practical. It wasn't until 1908,
Right.
when the Wright brothers flew in trials for the military, that people started to believe. Also that year, there was a big air show in France. Wilbur proved he could control the plane, flying in circles and figure eights. And at last, people were excited about flight.
Right.
Ooh, I'm excited.
They're excited about flight? Uh-huh.
Manufacturers organized exhibitions to show people that they had solved the problems of flight.
Uh-huh.
But most people didn't really value planes until World War I.
Oh, it wasn't Hervé Villechaize on Fantasy Island who said, "De plane,
the plane, boss!
de plane, boss, de plane."
In World War I, pilots could spot where the enemy was,
Oh, I gotta love it.
where supply lines were, what the land was like. Soon, enemy pilots began fighting while flying, shooting from one airplane to the other. Pilots learned fighter moves, such as maneuvering around another plane and doing loops and rolls. After the war, aircraft were still not efficient enough to carry many passengers. Pilots did many jobs, such as taking aerial photos and crop dusting, or spraying fields with pesticides,
Lovely. Probably DDT.
and performing exhibitions. Yes, DDT was the pesticide.
It wasn't organically raised produce at that moment.
But then pilots began getting government contracts to deliver airmail. See?
From the sky?
The
I mean, did they
government.
drop the bags out
The
of...
government. See? Government. Without the government, nothing flies. If you left it up to electrify the Tennessee Valley from private industry, it would have never got done.
I got news for you. When I receive packages that are shipped by the United States Post Office, they're always intact. They're not crushed or ripped open. In general, they're in pretty decent shape. But when I receive things via UPS, forget about it. I had a friend who worked for UPS. The managers, all they cared about is speed.
Yeah.
Unload the truck as fast as you possibly can and deliver it as quickly as you can. And he used to see packages get smashed to smithereens, and management didn't care. See, government really does work. The only thing is, and the poor get taken care of, and the lower middle class get taken care of, and the middle class have jobs, and the middle class have incentives, and live a better life, and low taxes on the middle class, and no taxes on the poor, blah 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 blah. But guess what? The rich have to pay for it, and they did pay for it, and they can pay for it, because guess what? When the rich pay a high tax rate, they are still rich when it's all said and done. The rich are still living a high standard of living. So do not feel sorry for the elitists when they bitch and moan on TV in Washington.
What's those 3 scriptures on the newsletter?
I gotta get my reading glasses, but I could read them.
Read them.
Let me read them.
Because they're very important.
And you know what? There's actually more. There's more scriptures in the Bible concerning the rich and the poor, but these are the ones that the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman chose for the right under the heading of censored. All right, here we go. Quote, prove all things, hold fast that which is good, unquote. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. Yeah, prove all things, conservative Republicans, before you start spewing your conservative propaganda lies.
Do your homework.
Yeah, and prove all things, right-wing fundamentalists that think they know the Bible, but they don't. Second verse. He that oppresses the poor to increase his riches, and he that gives to the rich shall surely come to want. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 16. And the last one. But there's more.
No, let's stay on that a moment.
All right.
He who gives to the rich come to want.
He that oppresses the poor, which is
what is the tax
exploitation
for the rich?
A tax
but
cut.
Giving to the rich.
Of course it is.
And we've been doing that for a long time in this
What
country.
about corporate welfare? What about Wall Street?
Giving to the rich.
Wall Street bailouts, giving to the rich,
Giving to the rich.
Right?
Yeah.
Or what about giving special treatment and breaks to corporations, but never to the little guy, but never to the mainstream? That's giving to the rich again. Oppressing the poor, exploitation of the rich. Wouldn't oppressing people to make the rich richer, would that be similar to deregulation of corporations and businesses, so they can lie to you and screw you and deceive you and rob you?
Absolutely.
And be allowed to do it?
Absolutely.
That's a form of oppression.
And that's one of the jobs of government, is to prevent that.
Or not giving, or a retail company like the company that owns the Gap and Old Navy and Banana Republic, giving people no benefits, but starting them off with $8.50 an hour, and then after a few years only giving them a 10-cent raise to bring their pay up to a whopping $8.60 an hour with no benefits.
Whoopee.
Isn't that a form of oppression?
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Yes.
A really nice America conservative
We sanction it
Republicans.
all. Yes, we sanctioned it all.
Conservatives.
And then we have the gall in the guts, and the galloons and the gonads that call
Cojones.
this country a Christian nation.
A Christian.
Give me a break.
Give me a fucking break. A Christian nation? A counterfeit Christian nation.
Oh, that it is.
If the Middle East calls the capitalist West a bunch of infidels, you know what? As far as Allah, as far as God goes, they are infidels. They are. Now let me read the last one. Quote, he that makes haste to be rich shall not be innocent, unquote. That's Proverbs chapter 28, verse 20.
And isn't that what
Hear that,
Goldman
man?
Sachs and all of them on Wall Street just did in 2008? It's exactly what they did. Making haste to be rich. And they are guilty. And guess what? They're doing it again. No one has gone to jail.
But isn't that a way of life for all elitists and conservatives, is to make haste to be rich?
Oh, yeah.
Shall not be innocent. And that's the word of God telling you that, man. Shall not be innocent. Ill-gotten gain. Ill-gotten gain. All rich people, including your hero there, Donald Trump.
Trump roast.
The bloated goldfish with the Dennis the Menace hairstyle, which means blonde hair with bangs. You know, it'd be great if he won by some fluke. If he won the Republican nomination and he picked Chris Christie. If he picked Chris Crisco, listen to this, Chris Crisco Christie, governor of New Jersey, also a conservative Republican, as his running mate, could you picture the both of them in a photo op with the same puckery mouth?
I can see them both right now. A satirical cartoon, both of them like goldfish in bowls. 2 bowls with 2 goldfish.
Well, I like goldfish. I think they're pretty cute. You ever see the cartoon? What is it? I hate Seth MacFarlane, but it's American Dad, which is a satire of a selfish, stingy, right-wing, reactionary Republican. He's a CIA agent, and he's got a dysfunctional family. Typical, like Family Guy. Anyway, they have a pet goldfish named Klaus. He talks. He has a German accent. But anyway, yes, I could see Chris Christie and Donald Trump with that puckery face, with the lips. We rich must not pay taxes. They create jobs. People should take any job they can find, and if they can't find one, drop dead and starve to death and live in the woods. Or if they can find a job, work 24/7 with no sleep just to pay your bills. Meanwhile, us elitists and our families will be eating filet mignon and lobster tail every damn day while you mainstream Americans suffer and we don't pay taxes. That's really the agenda of Republicans. But then again, the whole 2-party system is no good. They're both corrupted.
But the Republicans have an agenda of wanting to destroy the United States government, and no one does a thing about it.
They don't want it. They don't want the Constitution either. They want slavery.
They say it out loud. They say it in their private meetings, and no one gets it.
It's a feudalistic oligarch. It is a corporate plutocracy, and nobody gets it. This is what they want. They want 2 classes: the poor slaves and the very rich. So this whole flag-waving Yankee Doodle Dandy, God bless America thingy, it's all a lie. It's a front in the end times. It is the devil's economics. And unfortunately, a lot of Democrats fall into the same category. You're not going to hear any of this in the mainstream media. It takes Megalife 21 and Newsletter Censored to deliver this, in the underground media and internet talk radio. But anyway, we have, I'm very proud that our live stream channel contains almost all of the videos that we have ever done. It has never looked better. Our live stream channel, where all the major networks broadcast their videos on demand, is www.livestream.com/ M lowercase EGALIFE 21, Megalife 21, and check it out. And also we have a new Megalife 21 Facebook profile promoting our agenda, the newsletter, and the radio show. And we have on, in our favorite list, most of all of the progressive liberal talk show hosts and organizations. There's one group I found called Left something about the left.
There's another group
Left-wing.
forming last night, according to some email I received from somebody.
Yeah.
Last night.
Yeah.
But you see, that's not, we got plenty of them.
But they don't get out and vote.
Well, that's the thing. But we don't have the infrastructure that the conservatives had.
Mm-hmm.
They've been building it for over 30 years. We don't have it. You go out of New York City and driving a truck. Start trucking across the United States.
You got a bunch of right-wing fundamentalists out there, right?
Keep your radio tuned to AM. All you got is conservative right-wing talk radio.
Yeah, but aren't the people out there po-folk?
Yeah, they're poor
But they
folk.
only vote right-wing because they're religious nuts, right?
Like 35% of the Republican Party are, yeah.
You know, anti-abortion, prayer in school, anti-gay marriage, anti-stem cell,
Secularism.
secular humanism, anti-stem cell research.
Democrats are demons. Baby killers.
They are right-wing religious nuts, like the guy that burned the Quran.
Exactly.
You know,
Not only did he burn the Quran, but he calls himself a man of God, and he lied
really.
because he agreed not to burn the Quran. The last time he said he was going to burn it. So he's a liar. Now, who is the
Interesting.
father of the lie?
Satan.
Satan. Thank you. So,
Well,
there goes his credentials.
obviously. Hey, by the way, next
But he's
year.
still got the mustache.
Yeah, he looks like a basset hound with a stupid handlebar mustache. By the way, next year we're supposed to have a very heavy amount of solar storms or solar flares.
In the next year, a huge supra solar situation,
Which might knock out the grids.
which might knock out the electrical grids.
Did you find that article, by the
cause an
way?
Ice Age.
Was that article in the paper?
I heard it on the radio.
Because, yeah, I heard it. They said it might knock out the grids.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And with the holes in the ozone, thanks to the oil companies, thanks to G.W. Bush allowing them to do their dirty deed. I don't know. It's a bad situation. And if all the planets line up on 2012 and the poles should shift, then what are you going to do with all that money, Rush? People like Rush Limbaugh and all the right-wing fundamentalist conservatives and all your, the money that you're swimming in, the money that you have stashed in your mattresses and your pillows. What are you going to do with all your money? Huh? If the poles happen to shift. Interesting.
I don't think they know about that kind of stuff. They don't give a damn.
No, like I said at the beginning of the show, America does not have a deficit problem. It has a lack of revenue problem. Tax the rich like
Which has been going on for 30 years at least.
FDR, Truman, and Eisenhower's days. Tax the rich. Revenue.
Many Americans
Many Americans.
with leaky heart valves soon might be able to get them fixed without open heart surgery. A study showed that a tiny clip implanted through an artery was safer and nearly as effective as surgery. The device is already on sale in Europe, and its maker, Abbott Laboratories,
Hey, I bet.
hopes to win approval to sell it in the United States next year. Elizabeth Taylor reportedly got one last fall. The 77-year-old actress told fans about it on Twitter. About 8 million people in the United States and Europe have leaky mitral valves
Mitral valve prolapse.
between the heart's left upper and lower chambers. Not all are so bad that they need treatment, but the worst cases can lead to heart failure over time. In the study, 6 times more people who had surgery suffered complications during the next month than those who got Abbott's Mitra clip. Deaths, strokes, blood transfusions were less common with the device. The clip was not dramatically less effective than surgery after 1 year. Doctors called the study a watershed, the first big test of repairing or replacing heart valves through arteries rather than drastic surgery. The MitraClip is only for the mitral valve. Other devices for other heart valves are in late stage testing, and many doctors believe they will transform how these conditions are treated in the near future. We have opened the door for a new therapeutic option for patients. Some surgeons were not convinced the device is close to surgery's effectiveness and said patients need to be studied for more than 1 year. It's a partial victory for the device. Clearly, this is a very exciting technology. But the study's leaders set the bar for success way too low. The mitral valve is like a saloon door that opens to let blood flow into the heart's main pumping chamber. When the flaps of the door don't swing completely shut, blood flows back into an upper chamber of the heart.
Interesting. Very interesting. We have
One more?
one more of interest, high magnitude, of a national level, or
If there were a pill that could add 2 decades to your life,
it sounds good.
would you swallow it?
It depends on negative side effects. It depends on what it is. 2
Not-
decades of quality life.
Not if you're like most people. They see it as an invitation to purgatory.
What? Huh? Well, who sees it as an invitation to purgatory?
Why would I want to be old for an extra 20 years?
What if you're like Jack LaLanne and you had quality old age?
But when the University of Washington longevity researcher dangles the prospect that those extra years
Bo
would be
Dangles?
spent spry and hale,
Is that his name, Bo Dangles?
not enfeebled and ill,
Yeah.
then they listen up.
Spry?
The secret of slowing down human aging
Antioxidants.
would be one of the greatest discoveries in medical history.
Antioxidants and uncle oxidants. I'm a fun guy. I love mushrooms. What can I say?
While aging itself is not a disease, postponing it would simultaneously postpone the risk of our biggest scourges: cancer, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, Alzheimer's. What follows are 3 hot areas under investigation: cutting calories, developing drugs to mimic a lower than normal calorie diet, and deciphering the genetics of the oldest of the old. Hundreds of studies
Gerontology, I
since
believe
the
it's called.
1930s have shown that a below normal intake of calories slows aging and greatly extends healthy lifespans in organisms as simple as yeast.
We read that in Dr. Roy Walford's book, Maximum Lifespan. Remember that?
And as complex as rats. The journal Science reported that rhesus monkeys, our evolutionary cousins, whose daily calories were reduced 30% for 20 years, had 1/3 the risk of developing age-related illnesses such as diabetes, cancer, heart disease, and brain deterioration compared with normally fed monkeys. That suggests quite convincingly that their aging is being slowed. A few years ago, the happy prospect of a pill that would make the body behave as if it was being deprived of calories burst into the headlines when researchers reported that a compound found in the skin of red grapes called
Trans resveratrol.
Resveratrol,
Am I psychic or what?
when fed to fat mice on a high-calorie diet, seemed to counteract the ill effects of their gluttony without their having to lift a paw.
And the good thing about trans resveratrol, which can come either from red grape skin and the pigmentation or from Japanese knotweed, is that they often combine resveratrol with grapeseed extract, which is the primary antioxidant in grapeseed extract is oligomeric proanthocyanidins,
Nice word.
as opposed to the polyphenol, which is, they're all polyphenols. The polyphenols of green tea would be catechin gallate.
Whatever.
Catechins, they're catechins. Catechin galates.
The mice stayed fat. But compared with normally fed mice, they had better bones,
I do health talk, by the
heart
way.
function, and physical performance, fewer cataracts, and extra protection from diabetes. They also lived about 25% longer than overstuffed mice usually do.
Really? Well, but the important thing is high nutritional density with
Oh, yeah.
low calorie.
Oh yeah. Resveratrol already was being sold as a supplement. And within weeks of the 2006 report, now here is when you saw the jump in price for resveratrol
Ah.
after this study. After this report in 2006 in Nature, it was flying off the shelves even though there was no proof of the slightest benefit in people. Everyone went bananas. A corresponding surge occurred in sales of red wine. Although the beneficial mouse doses were tantamount to 1,000 or so glasses a day.
It's proven, trust me. The resveratrol and proanthocyanidins are very well documented. They are proven to be one of the most powerful antioxidants. Actually, that's how most berries, that's how all berries and fruits that are high in ORAC score account for their anti-aging ability. Even like acai berry, it's polyphenols, anthocyanidins. Blueberries, well, wild blueberries. Goji berries.
In any event, when that sank in, the public frenzy ebbed. Resveratrol's lasting legacy may turn out to be a better understanding of a family of enzymes called sirtuins.
Sirtuin.
Sirtuins.
Oh, you're talking enzymes now.
Enzymes.
Okay, live enzymes, hopefully, not the dead enzymes found in pasteurized fruit juices.
Both resveratrol and calorie restriction seem to act, at least in part, by activating these enzymes, which regulate the body's defenses against aging and disease.
Right.
Living to 100 didn't get the warm reception Thomas Pearls had expected when his book came out in 1999, Living to 100, Lessons in Maximizing Your Potential at Any Age.
Right.
He thinks the public assumed that anyone that old must be in terrible shape.
Yeah, well, the human body is really designed to live to 150.
But Pearls, who directs the New England Centenarian Study, has found that the vast majority of the centenarians in his sample are doing surprisingly well.
Now, high nutrition and detoxing and antioxidants are very important. But a human being with a high stress level in his
Ooh.
life, stress kills.
Stress kills.
Plus the stress hormones that are created, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most are free of disabilities until the end of their lives. Even those contending with significant age-related ailments like heart disease. And the 1 out of 7 million people who reach the super centenarian age of 110, 1 out of 7 million.
Wow.
There's 306 million in the United States, so that's 300 to 306 people
We're, to-
only live to like 110.
we're talking about the U.S. strictly, right?
Wait a minute, 1 out of 7 million. Excuse me, so it's less than that.
Wow. Well, speaking of centenarians, I will begin making my first batch of homemade kefir. I went to Whole Foods and I got the by Yogo Gourmet from Quebec, France. I'm sorry, Quebec, Canada. Quebec, Canada. I'm going to be making my own kefir. A lot more nutritious than yogurt with the probiotics that are in there.
Anyway, the people 110 years old, there were 85 in his study.
Oh boy.
They seem to dodge not only the effects of age-related conditions, but the illnesses themselves. Or, if they do become ill at the end of their lengthy lives, they quickly die rather than languishing in declining health. What's the secret of the oldest old?
Assholes are back outside. Yeah.
Our hypothesis is that centenarians get to be 100 because they have some protection against age-related disease,
Uh-huh.
and maybe against aging.
Okay. I love it. See, these are the articles I really dig, man,
Oh, you dig some. Look
because they're important. They're vital. Well, that wraps it up, I think, because, these people are really pissing me off with this racket. But that wraps it up for this week's show. Oh, by the way, yesterday on Health Talk, one of the many articles, because I was way behind on schedule. I had so much information. I haven't done Health Talk in many weeks. Vitamin D for Parkinson's disease.
So they're finding vitamin D for everything lately.
Vitamin D is the hottest nutrient this year for 2011 in terms of like autoimmune afflictions, multiple sclerosis. And then I read the one about the pink slime being found in U.S. ground beef, and that went over well. Of course, poor kids get it in their school lunch, and fast food restaurants, had it. But and then I read something about a very, very important news about proper calcium and magnesium intake. All the virtues connected with that in terms of health, extremely important to get those macro minerals. And Americans tend to have a magnesium deficiency, which I was shocked because, well, magnesium is richly found in green vegetables, leafy greens, nuts, whole grains, right? And it's so inexpensive to get enough magnesium, calcium, zinc. Minerals in general are not expensive supplements at all. Chelated minerals.
And you can get your magnesium with your calcium.
Yeah.
And then if you need to, some people might benefit from taking an extra 500 milligrams. Some other people might find that might loosen their stools.
Well, milk of magnesia is magnesium.
And that would make, well, when that would happen,
Citric
of course,
of magnesia,
that
too.
would tell you that you might be taking too much.
Yeah, that's true. And then I read an article about garlic and osteoarthritis, and the list goes on and on. But that wraps it up because the noise is starting again. I'm going to go out there with my shillelagh pretty soon. Anyway,
Just ask them before you hit them whether they're a Republican.
Yeah, and it won't. The shillelagh will not be a virgin shillelagh any longer. But I'm trying to think of that other gem that
Columbia, the gem of the ocean.
I read about. Nutritional gem. Anyway, thank you for joining us for discussions. And we are coming to you live from the Newsletter Censored Research Center in Northeastern New Jersey. Remember, get your free annual subscription to Newsletter Censored with your gift to support this work. www.newslettercensored.com. Say so long to everybody.
Hasta
Oh, forget it.
luego.
Yeah, luego. Okay, whatever.
Adios. Jeez.